All right, 33-14 Penn State win over Pitt, and it's great to see this game again. But at the end of his press conference, James Franklin has the line that for Pitt last year, beating them was like their Super Bowl, and this is like us beating Akron. Now, he talked throughout the week, Neil, that every game is big, and that's what he was talking about. But that line is something that is going to create fodder, I'm sure, for this rivalry.
Yeah, I really don't think he should have said it. I don't think it was necessary, especially when he linked it to the fact that when Pitt won last year, that was like the Super Bowl to them. And he's been saying all week that every game's a Super Bowl. You know, next week's Georgia State, that's the Super Bowl. But, you know, it's obvious I don't think really respects this rivalry. And, you know, in some ways, you know, the rivalry ended when Joe was here too. So I mean, there's been a lot of contention between the two schools, no matter who is coaching. I think it has been a geographic rivalry. They do compete and have competed for the same players, and obviously the fans like this game. I think. Does
he have to respect the? We were just talking about this earlier. There are 109,000 people here. Does James Franklin have to respect the rivalry, or the fans do?
I think the fans enjoy the game. They love the game. This was a great atmosphere here today. It's the biggest crowd they've had in 8 years. So, I don't know. I mean, he's talking about let's build a string now. Well, Georgia State's next week. So, good luck with your string next week. I just don't think it was really necessary. I do respect the rivalry. I've known a lot of people that played in the Pitt-Penn State game from both sides, and I've always enjoyed it. I think people from State College West, for sure Altoona, Johnstown, into Pittsburgh, have really looked forward to this game. I think it was a little salt in the wound that I really don't feel was necessary. Now, he did try to back his way out of it a little bit by saying every game is like a Super Bowl to them,
and that
philosophy is serving him well.
Right.
But I think for 2 years in a row, at times, I think Pitt has played harder, longer in this game than maybe Penn State has.
Well, Penn State's offense, we really have not seen them struggle much for the last year and a half. That when this offense gets it going, they can really light it up. But Trace McSorley, he admitted that he was a little too jittery at the beginning. He threw the interception at the end of last year's game when they lost, and he admitted that, you know, he was kind of thinking about that. But Pitt hung around at least. I mean, it still was a 33-14 game, but Penn State's offense kind of let Pitt hang around.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at what are the teams going to build on it now, I mean, this was a good game for Penn State in the sense that everybody's telling Penn State they're world beaters. They have a tremendous game against Akron. They move up to, 4 or 5. They're being in a conversation of the best teams in the country. Well, they have a little bit to work on here. Pitt held the ball against them for 38 minutes, 21 minutes in the first half. Pitt did some things and took away Barkley a little bit at times. So, and I think Pitt comes out of here feeling like they gained something too, even though they lost by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, give Pitt credit.
Yeah.
But again, it was a 33-14 win, and to Penn State's credit, when you cannot have your best offensive day and still score 33 points, your defense really picked you up. Their special teams are special now. This was not really a game that you ever felt Pitt had much of a chance, even though Penn State probably could have played significantly better.
Well, at the same time, I think Penn State, when they're up 14-3, it didn't feel like they were really dominating the game. And the fact that Pitt couldn't finish drives and put some balls up in the air for Penn State to intercept. I mean, you take away a couple of the turnovers that were sort of unforced. I think Pitt really encouraged Penn State in this game and gave them more opportunities to maybe put 50 points on the board.
And the Panthers kind of had themselves to blame. Now, Penn State's defense did stop them, but Pitt had a lot of opportunities driving the ball, moving. They had a 15-play, 8-minute drive that went 31 yards. There was a huge sack that kind of blew up the drive. When you're holding the ball for 38 minutes and you score 14 points, some of that's on you.
Yeah, I thought Pitt's defense actually, for the majority of the game and their game plan, made a lot of sense. Try to keep the ball, be patient, keep Penn State's offense and their explosive playmakers on the sideline, And, you know, I think Pitt was still in the game. You know, they were trying to manage the game. Even down 33-14, they ran the ball with 3.5 minutes to play, which I didn't really understand. And then Franklin runs in and calls timeout, which kind of backfired on them because it put their defense in a position to be on the field for the last 4 minutes. Anyway, not maybe a super entertaining game as far as the way it was played, but it kind of intriguing in a lot of spots.
And hey, we got the Super Bowl next week.
Right, Georgia State.
What's the line for that Super Bowl? 45?
I don't even know if there'll be a line. Seriously, you don't see Georgia State getting a line that much. It'll probably be when you can find a line, I guess it would be 45.
We got 2 more years left at Pitt, Penn State. Then we're not going to see it for a while. Let's enjoy it. Next year we'll be back at Heinz Field. Hopefully it's good. We got some digging going back and forth these couple years. So it's always fun this week. And for Neil Rudel, I'm Cory Geiger. Thanks for tuning in.